What's going on, everybody? How you doing? In today's video, this is good cover, bad cover. Not only is it good cover, bad cover, this is a donation request, which is the first donation request for good cover, bad cover. And I don't know why I wasn't anticipating that this would happen, but I kind of was just thinking this is a series that I'm doing, and I'm not going to get requests because I'm just kind of doing this series. But you guys understand and know, if you've been here and seen them, what it is I'm doing. It's not, you can figure it out and be like, oh, check this out, kind of no different than the reaction requests, right? The donation requests. The thing about this is, though, is that it's more work. It's 2 songs, right? It requires a lot more editing, so the rate's not the same. Okay, now, you know, to the person who donated for this, don't worry about it because you didn't know. But I'm telling people now that if you want donate request for good cover, bad cover, it's $40. Okay, so I'm not gonna make it 50, which would be 2 donation requests, right? I'll make it 40. Wow, a deal. So that's what it'll be going forward. If that's what you want to do, I you know, I'm kind of like, just let me do it. It's only 1 a week. You know, I'm not gonna do more than that at this time, at least. So I got it covered. But if there's something that you really want me to do or really want to hear or something like that, $40. Cool. And I'll do it. You know how it is. So this is for Michael. Michael asked for the song You Lost That Lovin' Feelin', Righteous Brothers. And the cover is by Edgar and Johnny Winter. Checking that out, which is interesting because I just did an Edgar Winter good cover, bad cover. It's not out yet. But I just recorded it and scheduled it, and now they're getting bumped. That's all right. Okay, so You've Lost That Lovin' Feeling. Obviously, I've heard the original. I've played the song, right? All that. I don't know that I've heard Johnny and Edgar Winter's version. I don't know that I have, actually. I feel like I haven't. So that'll be cool. We'll get to check that out. If you're new here, please subscribe. Check out my videos, all kinds of videos, reaction videos, bass videos, music videos. Check it out. If you like the channel, I do donation requests just like this one, except this is good cover, bad cover. Usually it's just a single song, and anyways, all that information is in the description below, so check it out. Thank you, guys. Okay, You've Lost That Lovin' Feelin'. Phil Spector, Wall of Sound. Right, this is classic Phil Spector, 1964. Right, first recorded in '64 by the Righteous Brothers. This version, produced by Spector, is cited by some music critics as the ultimate expression and illustration of his wall of sound recording technique. Record was a critical and commercial success on its release, reaching #1. Okay, right. Been covered successfully by numerous artists, right? All kinds of people. Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway, yep. Dionne Warwick, Hall & Oates, Elvis, Isaac Hayes, Nancy Sinatra. Wow, they don't have Edgar and Johnny Winter's version listed on here. Wow, rude. It's not thorough at all. Okay, that's Wikipedia for you, huh? Sometimes it's good for just like baseline information if it's accurate, you know, but geez, definitely need to dig further than that. Okay, so everybody knows this song. We're gonna check it out, the original, and then we're gonna listen to Johnny and Edgar Winter's version. See if it's a good cover, see what they do with it. I imagine it's not the same. Maybe it's got a crazy guitar solo in it. Maybe he breaks out the Firebird. Is it the Firebird? I always get them mixed up. Isn't that stupid? Because like one of them is a guitar and one of them is a bass. The Firebird and Thunderbird. Firebird is the guitar version? I never remember. I don't own one. I've never, I don't own one. The bass version, so some slide action on a Firebird maybe. That would be cool. Yeah, Johnny Weir is awesome. Yeah, I like Johnny Weir. Okay. All right. So, Righteous Brothers, You've Lost That Lovin' Feelin'. Let's get to it. Bam.
You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips. And there's no tenderness like before in your fingertips.
It's all the verb.
You're trying hard not to show it, but baby, I know it. You lost that love and feeling. Oh, that love and feeling. lost that love and feeling, now it's gone, gone.
The band is so small and just right over here. They just sound so small. It's all vocal. These strings are pretty loud.
When I reach for
You can hear that there's some kind of drums,
you're
but
starting to
the bulk of the pulse is like that upright bass
I do.
and that tambourine.
It makes me just feel like crying.
The background vocals. Yep.
Something beautiful about it. You lost that love and feeling. Oh, that love and feeling. You lost that love and feeling. Now it's gone, gone, gone.
Horns. Some vibes.
Baby, baby, I'd get down on
So much
my knees
reverb
for you.
on those vocals. It's so crazy that the band is so tiny
If
all
you
over here.
only love me like you used to do.
The vocals are in the center, but the verb is getting thrown off over here.
We had a love, a love, a love you don't find every day.
Man, this recording would suck if you only had your right side speaker working. Those strings are over here and they're like in a world of their own. There's some drums. Fade out. It's like they faded out the vocals and the strings before the band. Cool. Early. Just recording stuff. Producers and recording techniques. Wild. I mean, that's the I mean, yeah, this is classic, right? Classic song, classic recording. It's very interesting to hear it in this setting for me, because I'm not like, usually when I hear it, it's just, especially nowadays, it's just like it's on somewhere. I'm not like listening to it like this, like I'm like dissecting it or really, really more deeply listening to it. And it's interesting that this is like the whole wall of sound, because it's not really. What are other examples of I'm just curious. Let's see. Wall of Sound, Spectre Sound, music production formula developed by Phil Spector at Gold Star Studios in the 60s with Larry Levin and the Wrecking Crew. Intention was to exploit the possibilities of studio recording to create an unusually dense orchestral aesthetic that came across well through radios and jukeboxes of the era. Huge. Spector, like recording and producing based on what the listening medium is. That's no different than they have all these studio. This is why home recording and stuff like that and doing stuff with a home studio would totally work now, and for a while now, because how are most people listening to music? On headphones, on their phone, literally. So making sure that your mix, your production works on a phone, just playing it on your phone, just like this, just holding your phone and playing it. And then do you hear everything? Does it sound like how you want it to sound? Where in these studios, they got all these speakers and you can blast it and stuff like that. People don't listen to music that way. I understand that, like, You need those things. You need those things for like movies and other recordings, and there's a place for a real studio for sure, absolutely. It's just I always think about that. You remember when we did the Anthony Jackson interview, and I read that article that I had from 20 years ago that he wrote, where he was looking at the music industry 20 years in the future, and we're here now. It's just wild how accurate he was. He just knew where it was going. So anyways, so that's super interesting. Recording, making sure that it came out well across radios and jukeboxes. Okay. Spector explained in 1964, I was looking for a sound so strong that if the material was not the greatest, the sound would carry the record. It was a case of augmenting, it all fit together like a jigsaw. Popular misconception holds that the wall of sound was created simply through a maximum of noise and distortion. But the method was actually more nuanced. To attain the wall of sound, Spector's arrangements called for large ensembles, including some instruments not generally used for ensemble playing, such as electric and acoustic guitars. That's funny. With multiple instruments doubling or tripling many of the parts to create a fuller, richer tone. Totally. No different than ba, 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 the bass and the piano down low, right? Stuff like that. Or no different than ba, ba, ba on the bass, but also on the kick. For example, Spector often duplicated a part played by an acoustic piano with an electric piano and a harpsichord, mixed well enough that three instruments would then be indistinguishable to the listeners. Among the features of the sound, Spector incorporated an array of orchestral instruments, yes, strings, woodwind, brass, and percussion not previously associated with youth-oriented pop music. Reverb from an echo chamber was also highlighted for additional texture. He characterized his method as a Wagnerian approach to rock and roll, little symphonies for the kids. The combination of large ensembles with reverberation effects also increased the average audio power in a way that resembles compression. Combination of large ensembles with reverberation effects also increase the average audio power in a way that resembles compression. Okay. In 1979, the use of compression had become common on the radio, making the trend that led to the loudness wars in the 80s. Intricacies of I thought the loudness wars was like way later, not 80s. The intricacies of the technique were unprecedented in the field of sound production for popular music. According to Beach Boys leader Brian Wilson, who used the formula extensively, in the 40s and 50s, arrangements were considered, okay, here, listen to that French horn, or listen to this string section now. It was all a definite sound. There weren't combinations of sound, and with the advent of Phil Spector, we find sound combinations which scientifically speaking, is a brilliant aspect of sound production. I mean, what he's talking about here is just orchestration. It's literally just orchestration. It's frankly not new. And he didn't invent it. He didn't. Classical composers have been doing this kind of thing forever. Just literally like, okay, you take something and the strings have one line. You take something in like an orchestra, the strings have like a line that they have, and it's doubled by, pick a section, the woodwinds. It's doubled by voices. It's doubled by the upright bass. Whatever, like that's all it is. It's just doubling, exactly what he's saying. Okay, now we have the French horns and they're being doubled. They have this line and it's being doubled by the oboes. Whatever. Or a vocal part that's doubled by the trombones. Okay, so anyways, regardless, very interesting. The thing that I hear about this that's interesting to me is that the band is so small. It's wall of sound, but the band is so small. And just in this small space. Like when you think of the entire audio spectrum and what you're hearing, if you think of it as like 180, right? Just your ears, right? Just 180. And you can place everything. Most things are dead center, like vocals, bass, drums are usually dead center. and then you can spread everything out. Maybe guitars are over here, maybe horns are in one, stuff, just different things like that. You have an area to spread it out in. The area that the bands took up was so small, just on this side. It was just like right here in the audio spectrum. And the vocals were all here. And it was throwing off this reverb that was just going this way. And then there was vocal strings here, just on this side. The band didn't leave this little circle on the left side. They were just there. And it was so dense and compact that you couldn't even, there wasn't even room to hear everything individually. But things poked out at times. Whether that was the upright bass, the tambourine, just certain things were louder than others. Towards the end, the drums got bigger and louder. You heard more of the drums. You heard a little bit more of the piano stuff. You heard the vibes. You heard horns coming in. You heard voices coming in. That's the interesting part to me, but all within this little circle, this little hole in the wall almost. But the voices, clearly this is all about the voices. The voices were super loud and just that reverb. So it's interesting. Cool. Okay, next we got Edgar Winter and Johnny Winter. This is off of their album Together. Looks like it's live from 1976. I don't know this album. I have had a few Johnny Winter albums, and I really like Johnny Winter. I don't have really Edgar Winter albums. I mean, I've heard some of his music, and they're both really awesome. I really am more into just the blues. Johnny Winter's great. I played in a blues trio for a bit, and we did Johnny Winter. We did a bunch of Johnny Winter. So I was hip to a bunch of that. Okay, Together, Edgar Winter and Johnny Winter, 1976. Released just 3 months after Johnny Winter's Captured Live. It is composed entirely of rock and roll and soul standards. Recorded at San Diego Sports Arena and Swing Auditorium. All right, that's it. That's all the information on that. We're going to check it out. You Lost That Lovin' Feelin' live. Let's do it. Bam.
Never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips. There's no tenderness like before in your fingertips. You're trying hard not to show it.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
There's no welcome look in your eyes when I reach for you. You're starting to.
You got these little guitar lines.
Things I do. Oh yeah. It makes me just feel like crying. But baby, something beautiful's dying. You lost that love and feeling. Oh, that love.
It almost doesn't sound like Johnny Winter. Because he's not doing his like vocal stuff. It's like a different kind of song for him.
I get down on my knees for you. All right, ooh, yeah. You do what only love me like you used to do. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. We had a love we don't find every day. So don't let it slip away. Oh, yeah, baby.
There it is. Okay. Mostly doing the song. It was nice.
Love it.
They love it. Cool. Yeah, it was nice. It was fine. It was guitarized, pretty much. I like the dual drums. I like the drum, you know, like do 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 do. I like that whole thing, and how they kind of like passed it. Like at the end, there was a fill where it started. The left side drummer started it, and then the right side drummer kind of continued it, finished it off. Yeah, I liked all that. Yeah, the vocally it like didn't even sound like Johnny Winter for most of it. It's like when even on the first line, I was like, I think that's Johnny Winter because that's not Edgar Winter. But I'm like, it doesn't, you know, it's a different kind of song for him. Lots of times, you know, I'm thinking of like you know, like Highway 61 or something. You know, where he's just got that kind of like high rasp in his voice. There was none of that. It was cool. They got 3 guitars on this. Oh, there was a piano player. So Edgar Winter was just singing and playing sax. I thought he was also playing piano or keys. When I heard that, I figured he was on that. So that guy does a whole lot, right? I thought it was fine. It was cool. It was a good cover. I mean, they played the song pretty much as is. It's just, you know, there's not the like bigger orchestral elements. It's weird to say bigger orchestral elements because again, it was in such a tight little space. It wasn't really. That's why I'm like, yeah, wall of sound. You would have thought wall of sound would mean there's just like instruments and just sound pummeling you, but it wasn't like that. It's not like that at all. You got the band all here. It's like reverb is pummeling you, kind of. I don't know. That's interesting. That's the interesting thing. It'd be interesting to hear other wall of sound, Phil Spector wall of sound recordings, especially after this. If this is like, I don't know, but then again, they're saying this is like the quintessential example of it. But being that they were trying to get it to sound good in radios and jukeboxes, maybe having the band that small made it just bigger on those systems. maybe that's what it is, because it like came compressed in on the radio or something. I don't know. That's the interesting thing. That would be the thing to check out, where it may come off differently on like our sound systems and our headphones nowadays. Yeah, I thought they did a good job. It was cool. Which version would I rather hear? Probably neither of them. Probably neither of them. I'm good on this song. I mean, it's fine. The song's fine, right? It's a classic song, classic recording of the original, right? Super classic. But I'm good. I'm all right. I thought they were fine. I like the guitar stuff. They had some lines that were figured out ahead of time, little melodic lines, and in Edgar and Johnny Weir's version that they did to kind of throw in there. Yeah, it was cool. All right. Very cool. Good cover, bad cover. Let me know. It's a good cover. It's cool. Let me know what you think. Is it a good cover? Is it a bad cover? In the description below. I'll talk to you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.